Listen up, bro. Top 10 weirdest weapons in history. Let's go. Alright, at number 10 we got the Gauntlet Dagger. I can't lie, this dagger does look quite cool. Some straight up Wolverine shit, but it still is quite ridiculous. Especially when you realize that this was developed to be used in World War I. That's right, this wasn't made during like the Middle Ages for knights to wear along their armor. It was made for a war that saw tanks, airplanes, grenades, rifles, machine guns, and so on. But no, some fuckstick thought that this weapon would be the decider. At number 9 we got the Davy Crockett Nuke. This is one of the smallest nuclear weapons ever developed and was meant to be used by regular soldiers on the battlefield to stop tanks and stuff. Sounds pretty good, right? It also sounds pretty dangerous. The bomb's maximum reach was 2.5 miles, which meant the operators were actually in danger from the radiation the bomb would release. And it was inaccurate as hell, which sounds amazing. Inaccurate nuclear weapons, yeah, I'll take 6. At number 8 we got Mongolian flaming camels. Back when Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire was eating everybody's ass, they sometimes had to get pretty creative with their military equipment. Sometimes they encountered war elephants, which turned out to be a real pain in the ass. So to solve this problem, they of course naturally got the idea of setting a bunch of camels on fire and then have them rush the elephants. And it worked. It scared the elephants away.
Great success.
At number 7 we got the ballistic knife. This one is just plain stupid. It's a knife where you can shoot the blade. Like, they couldn't pick between a gun and a knife, so they made both into one. When would this ever be useful? And what do you do if you miss? You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. Imagine a soldier on the battlefield shooting a blade at someone, missing, and then just standing there like, well, what the f do I do now? At number 6 we got Soviet bomb dogs. This one pisses me off. Those poor dogs. During World War II the Soviet army strapped bombs on a bunch of dogs and had them run up and explode underneath German tanks. I guess they had to do what they had to do to defeat the Austrian painter, but did they have to use dogs? It did backfire a little bit cause the dogs didn't know the difference between German and Soviet tanks, and sometimes they would blow up the Soviets' own tanks instead. I guess karma's a bitch. They should have known better. At number 5 we got the Tsar tank. Why is the first thing you ask when you see this tank. Why did they make this? What's wrong with a regular tank? Why are the wheels so ridiculously big? It looks like one of those old bikes. They probably thought it looked real big and scary, but I'll guarantee you the soldiers would be laughing their tits off if they ever saw this piece of shit roll onto the battlefield. At number 4 we got the Bat Bomb. That's right, a bat bomb. This bomb was developed by the US during World War II and was basically a big cylinder containing thousands of bats with little explosives strapped onto them. This cylinder would then land in Japan, open itself, and all the bats would fly all over the area. And after a little while they would all explode, hopefully destroying some valuable targets. Doesn't that sound absolute genius? This was developed simultaneously with the Manhattan Project, by the way. It's funny thinking that Oppenheimer and his boys were putting blood, sweat, and tears into creating the atomic bomb at the same time that these dipshits were working day and night trying to make their stupid bat bomb. And of course the bat bomb was never actually used because now they had the A-bomb and realized their bat bomb was the biggest piece of shit they had ever developed. But hey, at least they didn't use dogs like the Soviets. At number 3 we got the Puggle gun. Invented all the way back in the 1700s, there were made 2 versions of this gun. One with round bullets to be used against Christians and one with square bullets to be used against non-Christians. The point would be to convince the non-Christians that Christianity was superior because the square bullets were apparently more painful than the round ones. But if you had shot them, they were probably dead, right? And you can't convince someone to turn to Christianity if they're dead, can you? Real Stephen Hawking level logic here. At number 2 we got the Krumlauf. This one really speaks for itself. I mean, look at it. It was a bending attachment for rifles made by Germany during World War II to shoot around corners. Spoiler alert, it didn't really work. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that this goofy ass Looney Tunes looking rifle wouldn't work? How dumb do you have to be, dude? And at number 1 we got the gay bomb. That's right, at one point the US were actually planning on making a non-lethal bomb that, when dropped, would turn the enemy gay. You really can't write this. You might think, well, this was probably a really long time ago before we even really understood science. But no, the US planned on doing this back in the mid-1990s. At this point we had been to the fucking moon and created both the A-bomb and the H-bomb. But I bet these scientists thought their gay bomb would win them a Nobel Prize. My god. That's the top 10. Did you agree? If you did, that's cool I guess. If you didn't, f off. I'll see you in the next one.